Hey, what's good, everybody? My name is mistamoshi. Me and MavAttack, we're friends for a good 4 to 5 years. We made content together, and we just in general came up in the YouTube space together. And really, I wasn't planning on making this video, you know what I'm saying? Because I was planning to be Tarzan and just let Clayton swing up them vines and whatever happens, happens. But at the same time, I'm like, some shit happened, and when am I ever gonna get a chance to talk about it? You know what I mean? So I'm like, since he went and already opened a court of public opinion, I'm like, might as well add my little, you know what I'm saying, 2 cents. 'Cause I saw the videos, I watched them, and this character he's trying to morph into and trying to portray himself as is, it makes me sick, considering it's like I know who this guy is. He wants to pretend that, oh, he cares about women and he cares about misogyny, and I'm just like, this is the same guy who stumbles into Discord drunk and tries to show you nudes of women that nobody asked for, and I'm pretty sure you didn't ask her to show me. And then there's this whole I've been abused and I'm a defender of people who were abused angle that he's using, stringing that panda chick along. I already said how I felt about her, and when the news dropped, I was sick to my stomach. And then say, you do what you do in that situation, you believe the victim. But once you start leaving blank pages in your message for dramatic effect and bringing up his mom, I'm like, all right, yo, you could get out of here too. But it was just so funny to me seeing this dude take the stance of defending mental abuse victims, and then the whole womanizing angle he was taking, like, oh, like you found him in bed with different girls. I'm like, bro, tell the people how you met your wife. This was back before they got married, before she was even his girlfriend. This dude Mav was juggling, he flirted, seduced, and was juggling a married woman with his I guess his girl or his wife, who wasn't his wife at the time. And then when he caught, instead of taking responsibility and being like, hey, I'm a piece of shit, he banded together with his now wife to form the Legion of Doom and cyberbully this woman to the point of physical sickness. He knows who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna bring up her name because she's off somewhere doing her own thing, being successful, and she probably wants no parts of this. But I tell you that to show you how him and his wife get down. They're no stranger to perpetuating that same mental abuse that they talking about. So, you know what I mean, come on down from that high horse, sir. And then he wants to go on a rant about all this mental abuse he suffered from Corey. I'm like, bro, they just asked you where he was. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, Mav is like a hamster. He's easily stressed, but he's also very easily excited. So I was there when he was complaining about Corey's community, but I was also there when you were happy about all the views you were getting from Corey off of the videos. I was there when you were happy that you could go get a press badge for free because your sub count went up. And I was there when you got your plaque. And I think that highlights who Mav is as a person. Like, he doesn't have anything good to say about you unless he's receiving something from you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking back to how he spoke on Corey, and besides complaining about his community, I never heard him say anything really good. Like, not even like, oh, me and Corey ran through so game and we was killing it. Like, none of that. It was just, man, why his people keep bothering me and da da da. And to that I have to say, I'll be honest, he's right. They shouldn't have harassed him, but I'm just like, they're not harassing you now, so what are we doing right now? What's the play? And then when I did get the news that he was actually bad-mouthing Corey, I'm not gonna lie, I would have said you were lying until I experienced MavAttack's backstabby, shit talk you behind your back nature, my damn self. So I'm gonna go on a little bit of like a side tangent, only because I think this will explain who Mav is, like his characteristics, and give you a little bit of context on what I'm talking about. So really quickly, I'm going to bring up my ex-friend D's Nut Steph, and I promise you it will loop around back to Mav. You'll say I'm not just going off on a side tangent for no reason. So a quick little backstory, and this is why I don't talk to Steph today. In 2020, he asked me to be his editor. Gave him my price for being a full-time editor. It was $2,400. He couldn't pay it. So what did he do? He offered me equity. So I would get a percentage of the channel, the Patreon, any ads or sponsors we did, I would get a percentage. And I came on the channel as a partner. I viewed it as an investment because I'm like, okay, I'm investing in myself, I'm investing my time, and I'm also investing in my friend. Fast forward, because I trusted the word of my friend very naively, Steph wakes up one day and says, you know, that equity I promised you, actually, never mind. And because I didn't get it in writing, he had me dead to rights. I was like, am I being robbed? Because at that moment in time, I already did the work. And it still makes me laugh because to this day, he didn't understand why I would be upset that he had me do all that work under the pretense of equity. And then he pops up and says, hey, no matter what we make, you'll be making $1,200 a month. So obviously I said no. I handed in my last video and I was like, you know what I'm saying, I was done with it. I cleaned my hands of it. So I'm expecting, like, you know what I'm saying, a little time to pass before he finds like a new editor. I'm like, who would agree to that price? It continues like clockwork. And lo and behold, who is behind the helm now? MavAttack. Now I bring this up because I'm like, yo, this jealousy shit that he has with Corey is not specific with Corey. He has it with his other friends. Before I continue, I want to add this detail. At this point, I have not talked to Mav in a year and some change, almost coming up on like a year and a half. And last time I talked to him, we didn't have an argument, a falling out, nothing. Everything was Gucci. The last time I saw him, we were good. So the timing was suspicious, and I didn't want to believe that like he was plotting. I didn't want to believe it was something malicious, but was cemented that, okay, this was something intentional and something very malicious was the smear campaign that ensued afterwards. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. I wasn't even mad that he took the job because I'm like, I washed my hands. I was done with it. I'm not about to work for free. But at the same time, it's like that wasn't enough for him. He not only wanted my job, but he wanted to rip my foundation from under me. And again, out of nowhere, because I'm like, bro, me and you didn't have no beef. Me and Steph might be having a disagreement, but me and you didn't have any beef. But still, that didn't stop him or Steph's head mod at the time, Otia, from going on a smear campaign, telling everybody that, A, I stole from him, which anybody who does content creation and you get paid through PayPal knows it's like, unless I have information to that PayPal, I cannot steal from him. I have to get paid by him. And then just in general, telling people not to mess with me. No explanation. Yeah, I can't lie to y'all. It got bad. It got to the point where it's like mutuals that we both knew started treating me differently. You know what I'm saying? I would start getting random passive aggression from people I hadn't even gotten the chance to meet yet. And I'm like, yeah, man, it got bad to the point where I had to isolate myself. You know what I'm saying? Like Avatar, and I had to just go into that, you know what I'm saying, that ice. And then for 2 years, I stopped talking to everybody, man, because I didn't know who believed the lie, who was harboring, like, you know what I'm saying, some unjustified resentment that I couldn't see. It got to the point where I cut myself off from everybody, including people that I trusted. So, because during that time, and this is why, you know what I'm saying, some of you guys might be asking, oh, why did you say anything at the time? During that time, people came up to me like, oh, is this true? And I explained the entire situation to them, and they didn't give a fuck. So it got to the point where I'm like, yeah, I could open this in the court of public opinion, but what would I really be fighting for? Like people who clearly don't mess with me for me, who just wanted to get close to me because they thought they could get close to Steph or get close to Mav. And instead of like fighting for that, this could be an opportunity to like get rid of these people. And also I isolated myself because in general, I had to deal with just the entire situation of having two of my closest friends do me dirty in this way. One of them clearly didn't even have a reason besides siding with the other. And why is that? Because they had something to gain from it. Yeah, during that time, I was just trying to pursue, like, you know, say something that would lead to some success because I wanted so desperately to chuck up like the figures and just be like, man, fuck y'all. Unfortunately, that didn't come. So, you know, eventually I got tired of just being by myself, feeling lonely, and I try to reconnect with people. But even still, 2 years later, it still followed me. It was to the point where I would try to reconnect with one of my friends who was streaming, and live on stream they would get a boss call from somebody to not mess with me. And that's the reason why I only have maybe 2 to 3 friends like I really keep close till today, because it's like I can't trust anybody. Man, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm mad fucking paranoid. So when I see you get on the internet crying mental abuse because your friend won't talk to you anymore and his community used to ask you where he was, when it's like I have to deal with all that happened, and on top of that I gotta deal with both Mav's people and Steph's people asking me where they are, without the situation, it would be proper for me to explain to them that, hey, I don't know and I don't care because these people are pieces of shit. And now I gotta hold that. And I can't lie, bro. That shit pisses me off. This is one of the reasons I'm making this video, bro. And I didn't even explain what y'all did to Strix. So to give context, me, Strix, Steph, and Mav used to be a part of like this group, like I said before, like Discord buddies. We made content together, yada yada yada. But to give context, Strix is the closest person to what Mav and Corey had in terms of longevity of friendship, in terms of trust, in terms of the amount they confided in each other. Strix is the closest person inside the creator space, or should I say, like Corey was. So back when Mav was going on his smear campaign telling everybody not to mess with me, eventually he did make his way back around to Strix. And he told Strix, he said, hey man, Moshi's not the move right now. You shouldn't mess with him. You shouldn't hang out with him. And Strix asked him 2 simple questions. Mind you, same longevity as Corey, same trust as Corey, same amount of stuff that he confided in. They were very, very close friends. And he asked Mav 2 questions. Why? And have you talked to Moshi? And ever since that day, 5 years ago, MavAttack has not talked to Strix ever since. And the reason I bring this up is because I think at the root, that explains who MavAttack is. Because even though you have that close relationship, unless you can offer Mav something, it's very easy for him to cut you off. He did it with me. I think he even did it with Steph, because they started making videos for a while and then they just stopped out of nowhere. And now Steph has deleted his channel. I guess Mav wasn't cool with making under bare minimum, and that whole operation eventually shut down. But I'm still surprised to this day about him doing that to Strix, because you knew him before you knew all of us. You met him basically at the same time that you got cool with Corey. But like I said, the difference between Corey and Strix is what they can offer Mav, and that's all he cares about. Even to this day, like Mav said that he stopped being friends with Corey, but it's like, no, Corey stopped responding to you. He stopped being friends with you because you're a bad friend and you treat your friends poorly when they're not looking. And because you can't mutually and consensually have a collaboration with Corey, you're going about this nasty and negative way in order to force that interaction with his community. Why? My guess is because his girl does OF, and with her just having a baby, she's out of commission. So he's like, baby, even if I look crazy, I'm gonna get this bread. That's my guess. I can't really, you know what I'm saying, explain to you his thought process, nor do I really care to. All I'm saying is, hey man, you already used up all your friends. At least stop using Corey, man, because you're still using him, still using his community. It's just take. I think even at one point you try to ask him to be his editor, knowing he edits his own videos and he takes pride in that. I think at one point you asked to move in with him. So it's like, yeah, this obsession you have, yeah, bro, you gotta let that go. Yeah, man, it's just whatever friends you got left, that's what's gonna happen in the end if you keep that up. So yeah, guys, I've been Mr. Moshi. That was my 2 cents about this. I won't talk about this again unless he just says something egregious that I have to respond to. But other than that, I'm gonna resume doing my own thing. And yeah, I won't talk about this again. And nobody else should either. Y'all should just let him fade, yo. And then be like me. Get ready for these 100 videos that are dropping, because I am excited about that. But anyway, Mr. Moshi, I'll see y'all. Peace.